Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about my reading goals for 2025. So I actually have 14 reading goals that I want to try and get through this year. I don't know if I've set myself too much of a big challenge, but we'll see how it goes. But this is basically what I'm going to try and aim to do in 2025. So the first one is basically I want to reread the Harry Potter series. So I read the first one, The Philosopher's Stone, again back in November, and it just brought so many memories back, going back down to meeting all the characters, going down Diagon Alley and going back to Hogwarts just brought so many memories back. So I'm hopefully going to start this Chamber of Secrets in the next week or so. But yeah, my aim is to read all of the Harry Potter series again, because I've not read them since I was probably about 15, 16, so 15 odd years ago. So yeah, that's my first goal. So hopefully start off with an easy goal. So the second goal is that I want to read a duology. So a 2-book series. So I'm actually thinking about, and again this could change over time. This is just what I'm just throwing together at the minute. And I actually want to read King of Scars and Rules of Wolves by Leah, I can't say her name, Bardugo. Basically she wrote the excuse me a sec, my laptop's playing up, the Six of Crows series, and I really love the first book, and again this year I want to finish the second book of that, so I'm going to reread those two again. But the King of Scars is supposed to be set a year after the Six of Crows finishes, so I'm looking forward to reading that as a duology. I also want to read a trilogy, 3-series book. And I'm probably going to choose the Ken Follett Century trilogy, because I love Ken Follett. Everyone knows I love Ken Follett, and this has been in my TBR for a good 6 months now, I think. It's sat on the bookshelf waiting for me to read. And yeah, so it's basically the books follow 5 families throughout the 20th century. It talks about the most dramatic events that have happened in the 20th century around these 5 families. So the whole trilogy altogether is 3,100 pages long. So it's going to be a long old set of books. I probably won't read them straight after each other, because sometimes reading too thick books can be a bit daunting. So yeah, that's definitely on my list to read this year. So another challenge that I've set myself, everyone knows that I read Ulysses last year. I've done a video on it. If you haven't watched it, go and have a look. But it's supposed to be one of the hardest books that's been written to read. So I actually want to try again this year and read another hard book. Okay, it might take me 3 months again, but I just like setting stupid challenges like that. So I've got a few books in mind. So Bleak House by Charles Dickens, Moby Dick, To the Lighthouse with Virginia Woolf, A Fingless Wake by James Joyce. I'm not quite sure whether I'm ready for a James Joyce book again. Anne Karenine by Lee Tolstoy, and obviously War and Peace by him as well are supposed to be some really hard books to read. So one of those hopefully I will read this year. At the minute I'm going more towards Virginia Woolf. I've never read one of her books before, and I think it's a fairly short book, whereas I think the other ones are quite long. So with all these challenges that I got, maybe it's a good idea just to start with that book. So yeah, so that is another goal for me. Also, I want to read 2 non-fiction books this year. I very rarely read non-fiction books. I'm not really sure why. I think for me, for reading, I like to disappear into another world, and that's why I choose fiction books. So yeah, definitely 2 non-fiction this year. My partner suggested that I read Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. She's read it before and she said it's fantastic, so that's probably going to be one that I pick up this year. And the second one, I don't really know yet. I'll just go with the flow. It could be a history book, it could be a travel book, it could be about politics. I really don't know yet, but it's definitely something that I want to try and read this year. Okay, and then I'm going into the 6th goal for this year is to read 2 books from the New York Times list of 20th books to read from the 20th century. So I've got the whole list. You can download it online. Just go and type it into Google and it'll come up. And so far I've probably chosen Catch 22 by Joseph Heller. It's sat on the bookshelf at home. It's been on my TBR for a little while. So this is going to be the year that I read that book. And again, the second one I would choose off the list, probably just randomly. I really haven't looked that far into the list. Some of them I've read before on there, so it's not going to be one that I've read before. It'll be something new. But I haven't actually read that many on these lists, so you know it's going to be a challenge for me. The 7th challenge is again along the same lines. New York Times best books from the 21st century. It was a list that came out about 2 months ago. So we're a quarter of a century into this century, so they released it. Again, I've only chosen one book and it's been on my radar for a little while, and that's Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. So it came out in 2022, and I think it's supposed to be her version of David Copperfield. She said she went to Charles Dickens' house and he told her to write this book. It's raved about quite a lot, so I think I'm going to read that. And I've never read David Copperfield, so I'll probably try and read that as well. So that's an extra book that I've just added. I've just pulled out of the air and added to this list. So yeah. Then goal number 8 is to read one book from each genre, so the top 10 favourite genres from readers across the world. So these are romance, fantasy, science fiction, paranormal, mystery, horror, thriller and suspense, action and adventure, historical fiction, which I love, that shouldn't be too hard, and contemporary fiction. I'm not really sure what contemporary fiction is, so that is something I'm going to have to look up. Again, these books will be random. Probably I would just pick a book up, read it, and if it falls under one of those categories, that's what it's going to go in. So goal number 9 is to finish a series that I've already started. I've got so many series that I've already started that I really want to finish. So I'm going to aim I've got 4, but I want to finish at least one of them. So the first is the Six of Crows books, which is 2 books, which, you know, I will reread the Six of Crows because I haven't read it since, I think it was this time last year. So I want to do that. I've just started Dungeon Crawler Kyle books, and hopefully we'll finish that tonight, so fingers crossed. And there are 7 books in this series, and I really want to read the rest of those because it's just a book I can't put down. And I will do a short about what that book is about probably after this video comes out, because it's such a good book. It's so funny that I just need to explain to you. And the third one could be the Fourth Wing series. I've only read Fourth Wing. I need to read Iron Flame, and of course the third book comes out at the end of January, and it's a series that, you know, I just got drawn in. It brought me back into the fantasy world, and it's again a series that I really love that I want to finish. And finally, I really want to read the Dune series. I read the first one and absolutely loved it. I thought I was going to hate it, but I loved it. I'm actually away at the minute, and I've brought some books with me, and I've brought the second book with me, so I will be reading that one whilst I'm away. So, but again, I think there's 5 or 6 books in the series. Again, it's a series that I really want to finish. So I've set myself some big goals this year. Number 10 is I really want to read the Bernard Cornwell series. It's the Saxon series, which we probably all know as The Last Kingdom from Netflix. I love the TV programme, and it's a series I've wanted to read for so long. So there's 13 books in this series, and this year I want to crack them out and get them off my TBR list. So number 11 is I want to read 2 books that are published in 2025. You know, there's so many coming out. There's a new Ken Follett book coming out in September. There's a new Hunger Games book coming out, so it could be one of these. Again, I really don't know. It's not something that I've researched that much, but that is on my list. And I also want to read the Booker Prize winner of 2025, which obviously I don't know, and that's probably going to be at the end of the year. So that again is all rolled into it, and then that rolls into goal number 13, which is to read 2 Booker Prize winning books. Now I've only ever read 2 winners of the Booker Prize. One of them was the 2022 winner, The Seven Moons of Nadil Ahmedin. I'm probably completely butchering that, so I will put that on the screen so you can all see. I read that this year in 2024 for my 52 book week challenge. It was an okay book. I can't say I've been blown away by the 2 books that I've read that are Booker Prize winners. The second one that I read was The English Patient, which was the 1992 joint winner. So it won't be one of those books. I'm sort of thinking along the lines of the 2024 winner, which was Orbit by Samantha Harvey, and Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, because that has been on my TBR list for a very, very long time. But again, knowing me, I will want to read that one, and there's another 2 books after that I want to read as well. So again, it's just, there's so much to read out there that I just don't even know where to begin. And finally, the last goal for me of 2025 will be, I want to read 12 books that are from different countries. So this does work out 1 book a month, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do it like that, but basically an author that is not English, so the book would have been translated. I'll probably pick the countries randomly. The first one is probably going to be from Colombia, because I am in Colombia right now for 8 weeks. So it would just be, it seems right to start with that country. I just think it's a goal that makes you just not want to read just English books and see things from a different perspective. So yeah, let me know what your reading goals are for 2025. If you've got some books that I can put in some of these categories, let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.